Hi, welcome back to Metal Rules TV, where the underground meets the playground.
Or vice versa.
Right. And this is our interview with Black Pentecost, part 2. So, while we took a little break, you were telling me that there's a lost Black Pentecost album, sort of.
There was an album we did. It was just myself and Jerry, now Mr. Sadrina, Reverend
Prime Minister
Reverend Blaze, whatever the hell it is now. It was called Dominion Without Grace. The tracks, there's 3 tracks on it. They were shorter. The structure's better. We used a lot of weird samples and effects, and there's actually I play guitar on it too, actually.
And bass, right?
And bass, yes. It was definitely. I preferred to the first one. I thought it was a lot. It was a lot better, and but he insisted on keeping the DAT tape, and that is now lost. That went down the Orwellian memory hole.
Have you tried to talk to him about getting it back?
No, I don't want him to try.
I don't think he's approachable at this point for something like
he's
that
lost
because,
his mind now.
If he were to do that, he would ruin his reputation in another scene.
Yeah, now.
So, I don't think...
Yeah.
So unless
he wants to regain his former glory, in which case, whatever, but I doubt it. I mean, he's like this whatever now.
Yeah. See, another release we were supposed to do was...
He's another religious fuck.
See, we were supposed to do like a weird compilation album. It was going to have 5 tracks on it. And it was going to contain a track we did with John and Jim, the first track called Macabre Sodomy.
Macabre Sodomy.
And it was also going to have 2 cover songs. One was a black metal, one was a experimental noise. We're going to do a Boyd Rice cover, who I'm actually advertising his shirt right now. And we're also going to do the first Black Pentecost track, which was actually called At the Left Hand of God, which was just a synth piece with the torturers screaming at the end. And there was another synth piece we were doing called Woven Dominion, which we were going to put out, which was all like real haunting keyboard piece with vocals. That was going to be, it was going to be a self-titled album called This Black Pentecost.
Okay.
Just the, present, past, future, etc. And of course, well, that's lost to history too. But we still, John and I, we have a cassette copy of Macabre Sodomy.
Of the third
Macabre Sodomy, we
Macabre
found
Sodomy.
a cassette of it, so we're going to do is edit it a little bit, chop it up a couple parts just to make it. And maybe, I'd like to release it as a 7-inch on vinyl, preferably.
That'd be cool.
Maybe we'll just put a brand new track on the flip side. We'll figure that out when time comes.
I have a few ideas for some original things that we're going to do.
I mean, I'm writing material now.
My path in the band, I think, is to make it as dark and as evil as possible. I mean, the band's called Black Pentecost. We're not going to sound like, Bon Jovi or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be really dark and evil and heavy. And the stuff I've been coming up with lately has been very primal, very simple, but just, it touches me in a certain way, you know what I mean? In a good way.
Yeah.
And every time that happens, when I write something, if it appeals to me and it's direction I want to go in, and I'll think of it first, and then I'll put it on tape, and it'll start I'll capture what I wanted initially, but then it'll change into something else. But it's always going to be, it has to be dark and evil. I mean, that's what metal should be. From Black Sabbath.
Sabbath, Motorhead, and Venom. That's
right.
That's the unholy trinity.
Right, and not everything they did. Not everything they did actually has that evil sound.
No Lamb of God for us.
Yeah. I don't know how happy they are these days.
I know, but it just is new metal or new metal crap. But
fuck that garbage.
But I mean, the stuff I've been writing lately is reminiscent of like Abominations of Desolation, Altars of Madness era, Morbid Angel.
Yeah, older.
That's so.
Older,
if we want to give you an idea of the
blacker
direction we're taking now, it's going to be. I mean, lyrical concepts is going to be, of course, occult stuff. It's going to be like actual lyrics and not just these random things like that was on this CD here.
Yeah, this was more.
It was a soundtrack of hell, as
put it that
I mean,
but this was more. This was no structure to it. It was just kind of go in the studio, and the first guy lays down this track,
Yeah.
Or you lay down a few tracks together, you know what I mean? And then you add, overdub, whatever, that kind of thing. Like when we did, when me and Jim Jim Downey did the macabre sodomy thing, Jerry and George already kind of had a bass thing going on, like what they, backing tracks, what they recorded and stuff, and they asked us to put guitar over it. Before then, there was never like, George did guitar in the second one, but nobody ever got to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this one, there was a dual guitar, and it was just basically...
And also John's vocals, too, was added to it.
That's true, too. And Jim,
I didn't know vocals on it. I just played bass, and that was it.
Right.
And, yeah.
So we were just asked to... We were guests, basically, at the time.
And you were official members right after we recorded it, though.
Right,
yeah.
right. I mean, that was, we accepted. We were asked, and we accepted, yeah, of course, we'll be members and all. But initially, it was supposed to be, we were just going to come in and play and do some stuff. And we were told, just do whatever comes to your head. You know what I mean? You don't have to follow any particular pattern. Just make it sound dark and evil and sick and whatever. And that's all we're into since the beginning anyway. So that came natural, and it really turned out pretty cool because there were certain things that were timely about what happened. Like, there was this thing going on in the background. I think it's been so long since I actually heard it on tape, but there was like this drum part. It was a pretty heavy drum, courtesy of Jerry at the time before he lost his mind. But it was heavy as fuck, And it's right after this fucking drum part and this whole build-up, there was a drop-off, and I came in with this, I used like a knife, like a paint knife. You know what I'm saying? You ever see like a paint knife?
Yeah.
Like, not like the Bob Ross knife, but like almost looks like a trowel, you know what I mean? And like I came in and I just started doing this weird thing on the fucking strings, and it worked out perfectly because it was high. Jim was playing something low. Everything else was low. And it was kind of like this gap. And then I come in with this weird fucking like kind of high-pitched slide guitar in a way kind of thing, but real distorted and fucked up. But whatever, I've described it a million times, you have to hear it. So hopefully we'll be able to get that to you pretty soon because it's a recently discovered tape.
Yeah, it's like what? I mean, gonna be 15 years old come New Year's.
Yeah, and I always dug it. I always thought it was really
I always
good,
did too. It was really heavy, it was really fast. It was
very
intense.
blasphemous.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was the most over-the-top thing we did at that time, no doubt about it. It was like...
I almost felt guilty. It was
I shopped the song
so
around
dark,
to a few labels and everything, but it didn't... I dubbed it to a few labels and passed it around a little bit, but it never got picked up. But
well,
hopefully it will now.
It definitely will now.
We'll put it will now.
But on a darker path, you're a vegetarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a dark path.
Yeah.
That is.
I'm wondering, was it a dark path that brought you to being a vegetarian?
This is going to sound very unmetal and unblasphemous, but I'm just very much a animal rights person.
Nothing wrong with that.
You see, I keep my manliness by drinking alcohol.
Right.
You know what?
But,
yeah, that's bullshit, dude. That's nothing to do with fucking machismo or any other fucking bullshit like that. I'd befriend a dog before I befriend some fucking human scumbag.
Right. That's right. That's
in a lot of cases, you know what I'm saying? Because a dog doesn't have evil intentions. It might be mad or insane. Right. In which case, you don't want to approach the thing.
As I said, dogs don't...
That's a fucking pure life form. Not like a corrupt...
Dogs and cats aren't fucking the world up and like bombing other nations, and they're not... it's not happening. No, it's humans do
Dogs don't practice religion.
That's right.
We can learn from dogs and cats.
That's right.
So how long have you been a vegetarian?
4 years now.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I quit one day, just like that. It was.
Do you feel healthier?
Yes.
A lot of people said once it...
Well, another thing is people, like, after they usually become vegetarian, they usually say they drop weight, they become these... But I've actually stayed I haven't lost... I'm completely...
You don't look like you should lose a lot of weight.
I'm like 220 right now. So it's just like that's... and I haven't lost any weight, so I'm, like, perfectly healthy.
Look at the muscle on this fucking vegan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's...
Actually, are you a vegetarian or a vegan?
I'm not a vegan, I'm not insane.
So you can eat fish?
Yeah.
I don't even... No, it's like I'm not...
You couldn't have pizza that
He's not insane. Remember that, folks.
No doubt.
Jerry might be, but he's not.
You can eat almost nothing when you're a vegan.
Yeah, exactly.
That's rough.
You can't eat anything that casts a shadow when you're a vegan.
Give me a fucking break. Yeah. You know what? If you're that worried about something killing you, then stop breathing, because...
That's right.
When you're alive, every day you're closer to death. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like the brilliant line from Pink Floyd. Shorter of breath and one day closer to death. That's every fucking day you live from the day you're born.
The earlier.
Pretty dark topic.
It is.
Sorry.
That's why I should change to a lighter topic like cotton candy. Earlier tonight you got
Cotton candy is the most.
Right, you gave your son his Chinooka present.
Yeah.
Some people would think that that's very dark and evil.
Cotton candy.
Yeah. I'm wondering all these sugar phobes out there and stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm wondering what your favorite.
No disrespect to diabetics. Huh?
My favorite candy.
Yeah. And why?
You can start there. I gotta think about this.
My favorite candy.
Yeah.
The Star Bar that's no longer made.
Is it the one with all different flavors?
Dude, I don't exactly remember what was in it, but it was kind of like
each bar is a different candy. Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe, but it was kind of like I don't know. It was
Sky Bar?
It was called the Star Bar.
Or maybe
it
not.
came out around the same time as the whatchamacallit, but the whatchamacallit sucks and it's still around. I just want to put that on the record. The Star Bar was fucking awesome. And there used to be a commercial with this astronaut out in space with these really.
I remember that. Now I remember
and it'd
it.
be like, grab the Star Bar. And the fucking thing tasted great. It was like kind of like caramel, chocolate, peanut butter, some crunchy shit, you know, but it was good. It wasn't like Baby Ruth in the pool with Caddyshack.
You said
although I like Baby Ruth frozen.
Yeah. No, I mean the peanut. Yeah.
Peanut M&Ms?
Yes, they're great.
Any particular reason?
Reese Cups.
Yes.
We say Reese Cups in Philly. Not
Love
Reese's. Not Reese's Cups. Reese Cups.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll come back. Maybe if you surprised, there might be some Reese's Cups.
All right.
Reese's.
Reese's. See, I might have Reese's.
They might make a cameo.
I would appreciate that, but I can't have peanut butter this late in the night.
But you could drink it this late at night, yeah.
Of course, that's what drinking's for.